especially fruits and vegetables. I mean, are there the ways that parents can sort of sneakily put them into the children's meals?
Well, I've heard parents trying to bake cookies with spinach in it, but see, that really doesn't work. So you need to, but parents are so worried about what the child eats, but it doesn't work. What happens is you need to tell the child, okay, main meal, right? The main meal will be whatever the 5 nutrients you need. Then dessert will always be dessert. You can't mix the main meal with the dessert, as you just said, right? So you need to have a set meal plan and stick to it, and you need to take control of the menu, not the child.
I see.
Right. I think I have a really good tip. I don't know, like when you mentioned distraction, I think if you get a spoon and disguise it as a plane, and then you put food in that spoon, and then you would just like pretend like it's a plane and then feed the kid. Wouldn't that work? That's a good distraction. To me, it would work on me. I'm just saying.
I said avoid distraction.
Oh. No, okay. Right.
Don't go against the experts, and that will anyway only work for like children of a certain age.
Very, very young. But still it's not necessary, because meal time is sit down time. You respect your food. You sit and you eat. You don't have to make a whole scenario or it's like mealtime is a very comforting thing, like you eat for comfort, right? And so this should be a pleasurable moment, not a torturous war zone kind of environment. So,
but now you have a few tips for people, like for children who are picky eaters. One is to grow a garden, to help grow a garden, or plant seeds and grow vegetables, is what I hear.
It's like this.
To know the process, I think.
What I'm trying to say is you need to get the child involved in these food patterns. But what happens is you don't need to talk about food all the time. When the child is a picky eater, the mother gets so worried about the fact that the child is not eating. They say either eat, you're not eating enough. If you don't eat, you're going to be this. If you don't eat, you're going to be that. You're leaving so much of food on your plate, give it to your brother or give it to your sister. So they're not addressing the issue. So the issue should be, okay, just ignore. This child doesn't like food, so leave it at that. Rest the subject. But find alternatives, as you said. Get them involved in the cooking factor. It's fine. They don't have to eat all the time. They don't have to eat what you're cooking, right? But you just need to get them involved, and slowly, steadily, they might show a keenness on food. The first thing is to get the keenness on food.
So preparation is a good step of getting them involved. And that's fun, like stems curiosity within the child to actually know what they're eating. Is there any other method that, apart from like cooking or, you know, actually like getting vegetables in your own garden, anything else that would actually help? Any other step?
Thing is, when you are a picky eater, as I said, they will have very little food preferences. So you can't always work around like 2-3 foods and, you know, keep on feeding them, because that's all they'll be eating. So it becomes a nutrition hazard after a while, even for the child. So get them involved, and you can, as a role model, you can eat the food and show them this is good. Would you like to try? But if he doesn't like to try, you cannot force feed. You need to give it some time.
Right. So how many times does a child need to try a particular type of food before they can actually get used to it? Because I'm sure that children take some time to get into the habit of eating a lot of fruit, eating a lot of vegetables.
No, it's necessary, like if the child likes something, they will enjoy it instantly. But what happens is that parents and the caregivers make such an issue over this food matter. It says that they just fuss. Sometimes they throw things out, they spit it on your face, and you know, because they know the parent will take anything from you, because I mean that's the way it is. So generally it's instant attraction to food. Like even for us, if we put something in our mouth, we like the taste and we keep eating it. So even for kids it's the same thing.
That's true. But Arundhati, I have to ask you, and many of the viewers who sent in their queries to you through our email account also asked the same thing. But how do you deal with children who waste a lot of the food that they eat?
What you serve and what time you serve, it's your responsibility towards your child. But what the child eats and how much he wants to eat is the child's responsibility, right? So you don't have the luxury of squandering food. You don't squander food.
Yeah,
right?
yes.
So you need to start off with giving very small portions to the child, very small portions, like ounces of food.
Okay.
Right? To try out. If he wants a refill, then it's a different thing rather than wasting it. What happens is we try to put a huge portion for a kid young as 4 years. Like generally the portion is, if you're 4 years old, you are supposedly a quarter of adult's body, right?
Okay.
So you're portioning it out. So you're eating 1 scoop of rice for lunch. You quarter it out and dish it to the child.
Okay.
So you need to specify the portion. That's where the food gets wasted.
Yeah.
And once the food is on the plate, you're like eat, but the child can't eat. It's
You have
too
to say it
much.
like that, like eat. Yes, that's pretty much how parents are. Okay,
Always.
what about punishment? Would that be a good way about going about it? Like kids that actually waste food.
No dessert.
No dessert. Yeah. Oh my.
Yes.
That would just be bad for me.
Yeah.
if that happened.
That is not punishment, because that is a reward. Because what happens is the children get so used to parents saying, okay, even when you're a picky eater, what happens? Okay, you eat this, I'm going to give you this. Right? If you don't eat this, you don't get it.
Right.
It's like a very humorous pattern for the child after a while, because it really doesn't matter, because ultimately he's going to get it
Yeah.
whichever way, right?
Same.
So punishment is not necessary, but you need to teach the child to show respect towards the food, and then every time before you serve, make sure you ask the child whether you really want to eat the food. It's like you show respect, so they learn respect.
Right.
What happens in a lot of, I think, especially in Sri Lankan culture, is that the mothers or even the caregivers, they will serve a huge plate of whatever that they are serving for lunch or dinner that day, and they will give it to the child and expect the child to eat the entire thing, and then blame the child when the food goes to waste. So it's very important that you follow whatever Arundhati says, because that's good advice, to go with small portions and then work your way up if the child wants more.
Yeah.
Of course. But there are children who are into a lot of unhealthy snacking.
Yes.
And again, this is a problem that parents face when that child gets used to all of these, sugary snacks and snacks that have a lot of salt in them. And this happens when they go to school and they experience the school tuck shop or the canteen.
The canteen.
And then there's another whole different ball game there. So how do you get your child to sort of steer away from that path?
The thing is, I'm a firm believer in if you don't have it, you don't miss it.
Okay.
So parents are the first people who introduce the child into unhealthy snacking. Right?
I see.
So you give the child very sugary, very salty things. I mean, it's very palatable. It's very palatable. Kids are like magnets to very sugary, highly fatty food. So it's not only food for the kids, even adults are. Okay, even we are very attracted to high calorie food than the healthy ones. So what you do is, first is you need to give the child food which has nutrient values. Right? So as you said, yes, though we try to maintain their real health pattern at home, they go out, they get exposed to so many food patterns, but maybe those same food patterns they want to eat, like junk food, right? Maybe you can make it at home.
Of course, and in a healthier way, I'm sure, than if you eat out.
Use the right ingredients.
Does, like, if I was a young parent, and does my eating habits affect what my child would want? Like if I was snacking or sipping on a lot of coffee, and if I was eating a lot of bread.
Always.
Really?
Always. Lead by example. Always you need to have the model factor of how you eat your meals. That's what the child follows.
Ah, man.
All right, so right now we have to go for a very short break, but right after the break we'll be speaking more to Arundhati about how you can deal with children who are picky eaters, as well as some healthy meal plans that parents can adopt for their children. So do stay with us right here on Good Morning Sri Lanka.
Welcome back to Good Morning Sri Lanka. If you just tuned in, I'm your host Jason, and we are speaking about your kids being bad, or no, well, picky eaters and the kids that actually push their food around. But that, we have Arundhati Sivagurunadan in the studio, a very great consultant to us here at Good Morning Sri Lanka, speaking about kids.
Of course.
All right, so healthy eating plans, Arundhati.
You mean food patterns?
Outline some.
Yeah.
Outline?
I was so curious, like, what does physical activity help with weight loss?
Weight loss?
Before we go to that, I think we should go to the healthy eating plan.
We start with the healthy
Yeah.
eating. Basically, as I said before, you need to be the role models, right? And when you're the parent in the house, especially the mother, you need to take control of the menus. So healthy eating plans is generally, you need to make sure the 5 nutrients goes into the plan.
Alright.
And it can be many things, like say you need to have your carbohydrates. So if your child is very picky and doesn't want to eat rice, you can actually find another source of sorting out the rice. Maybe use potatoes. It's the same kind of nutrition. So it's how you plan your meals, and you need to stick to it. You cannot make many changes in your meal plans.
Alright, so children have to get used to it, and they have to know that they will be sticking by it.
Haha, you dropped your papers
While
on
I
the
pick
floor.
it up, Jason, why don't you give an introduction to the next video that we have coming up?
Yes, we have a video of something about pizzas, about making a pizza.
Healthy pizza.
Making a healthy pizza, and I'm really curious on how to
There's
make
a
this because I like
contradiction there.
pizzas.
Let's check it out.
All right, we'll check it right now. It's on the screen.
This is very easy, and what you need is here I have got boiled pumpkin smashed up. So I have got boiled pumpkin mashed up with a little bit of salt and some cumin powder. So you boil the pumpkin and you smash it up with some cumin powder and a little bit of salt according to your preference. And I'm using tampala today. You can use spinach or any other kind of vegetables you like. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to use tampala, and there is garlic and some onions here and some tomatoes. What you're going to do is you saute the onions and the tomatoes with a little bit of oil in a pan, and then you add your tampala into it. Saute for about, not for long, for about a minute maximum, and then you take pita bread. This is freely available in any supermarket. Pita bread, it is frozen, comes in packets. You can take this size, or there is a smaller size than this. You can choose whatever the size you want, and then you take your pumpkin paste and use it as the pizza base. And you can use it very well. Cover the pita bread well with the pumpkin base. And then you add your tampala, the sauté tampala, or whatever the vegetables you have on top of it. And then what you have to do, you have to put this pizza into your roti maker. So you just roti pan, and then just let it cook for about maybe 3 to 4 minutes till the pita bread is crisp. So you can just lift it up and check whether it's crisp or not. Till it's crisp and a little bit brown, you can let it cook in your roti pan.